we're not going to waste any time. We're going to talk about a very, very big title right away as soon as he's done primping.
I look good today.
You're looking all right. Yeah.
You look good too, buddy.
Right, cool. Well, let's talk about Heavy Rain. We actually shot this one outdoors, and we brought out a rain machine.
No, actually, we just did this in Vancouver.
Yes, we did. Yeah. Here's our review of Heavy Rain.
This game has been in development since practically the dawn of man. I'm talking about Heavy Rain.
We were 3 months old.
We were 3 months old,
yep.
And that's when David Cage started working on this game. He made another game before this called Indigo Prophecy.
Yep.
And the rest of the world, it's known as Fahrenheit.
I liked Indigo Prophecy a lot.
I did too. I thought it was very novel, very interesting. That was really an under-the-radar thing. But Heavy Rain is not under the radar at all.
No, it's huge.
Sony has put it out front and center. It's been out front and center. We've been talking about it for months now.
It's a very big investment from Sony in a way, isn't it?
It's strange.
It's an adventure game. You know, this is a game where it really has limited replay value. I mean, you're going to play through it once and you're going to see the intricacies of the story, and we're going to talk about the story in a second, but it's not a traditional video game. It's like an 8-hour movie is really what it is, or a TV series or something.
Yes.
And you play
TV.
through a story, you know, and it's kind of risky for Sony to get all behind this, but I think the major sort of revelation about Heavy Rain was the emotion that the characters were conveying and the incredible fidelity of the visuals, which is very impressive.
The first couple of demos that they were showing, they were just showing teaser footage, and it was just always these faces that were just like this. That was it. That's all we saw for months.
Well, they're so impressed by them that that's actually the loading screen. You actually get a bunch of close-ups on faces looking around, and I really, really enjoyed Heavy Rain. And I'll tell you what was what really kind of pushed me over the edge, and what happened for me, the aha moment when I was sitting down there playing the game, was to watch the father playing with the two kids and to see the joy in their faces and to see the amount of time that they gave to that. You know, just he picks up a son and he puts him on his shoulder.
They probably spent 2 years just doing that scene.
But maybe just on the development side, but the amount of time that they give in the story, I was like, okay, man, this is really ballsy. They're really letting us get to know this family and these characters, and the kids have so much joy in their faces, and the father's so happy to be with his sons, and I was like, this is incredible. This is movie making.
I hear what you're saying. There's a humanity, a humanness there that we haven't seen.
Yeah.
You're talking about the joy on the children's faces. If you had a camera on my face throughout most of this game, you would see boredom. You would see a lot of sleepy, droopy eyes.
That does creep in.
This is probably one of the slowest starting games of all time. I mean, literally, it takes 2 or 3 hours before things really start to get interesting. And what you're doing in those 2 or 3 hours, pretty mundane stuff.
But I was captivated. I was pulled in. You have a bunch of different interconnecting storylines. It kind of felt like a Steven Soderbergh movie. It felt like Traffic.
But, you know, I'm not sure this is a step in the right direction. It's definitely something different. And I think we are all very interested in seeing something different. And I think we are ready to feel different things in games. But I do still think the core experience needs to be fun.
I can't recommend it as a definite purchase for everybody. I really enjoyed it, though. I'm going to give it an 8 out of 10.
You say somber, I say depressing. I'm going to give it a 6.5 out of 10.
Your appreciation of Earthworm Jim for the iPhone will 100% depend on your ability to play a game with a virtual D-pad, because that's what you're faced with here. Gameloft has built this port for the iPhone, and I think they've done a terrific job with the art. They've cleaned things up a little bit. It actually looks better and crisper and sharper on this little screen than it did on my crappy CRT TV when I played it on my Genesis way back in the day. It's a great game. It's completely crazy, all kinds of wacky ideas. The fact that you play a superhero worm should give you a pretty good indication of the kind of nutty stuff that you're going to get up to. You're going to be shooting all kinds of crows. You're going to be whipping people by grabbing your body out of your suit. You're going to be doing some hover spinning things by flipping your head around. That is, however, if you can deal with the kind of fussy, fidgety, clumsy controls that they've implemented here. I think it's worth the struggle, personally, to get into this game, because if you've never played it before, you're in for a real treat. The music is cool, provided by my good friend Tommy Tellerico, by the way, in case you didn't know that. Earthworm Jim is a classic game. You're just going to be dealing with some control problems. I'm going to give it an 8 out of 10. Welcome back to Reviews on the Run. Scott C. Jones and I are checking out his tie. You're still primping.
Hey,
what's going on?
If you look this good,
you're gonna spend
you would be touching yourself too.
You're going to spend the whole show.
I can't keep my hands on
getting ready for the show.
That's right.
All right, we better get out of the studio then and head to San Francisco to join our good friends Tom Russo, who's an industry expert, and Jose Sanchez, who works on Electric Playground. Here they are talking about Endless Ocean Blue World for the Wii.
right, we're here to talk about Endless Ocean Blue World for Nintendo Wii. Foobs?
Yeah, it's the sequel to Endless Ocean, which I got to review with the esteemed Victor Lucas, the legend himself, back in the studio offices. But, I mean, if you played the last game, or if you didn't, it's a point-and-click adventure, pretty much, where you're in the ocean, you're a scuba diver, and you're going around, you're finding different species of fish, and you're cataloging them and putting them into your marine encyclopedia. And occasionally you'll do a mission where you have to go find something, or a certain coin, or a treasure, or trinket, and you have to watch out for dangerous sharks or other different dangerous animals.
Are you talking about the last game, or are you talking about this game?
I'm talking about both games, my friend, because they are very, very similar to each other. Except in this one, I didn't have a penguin on board my ship, which kind of saddened me. So what'd you think of the game?
So here's the thing. I think that the game does an amazing job as a scuba simulator.
Yeah, it
just
does
sort
it
of
well.
giving you a sense of how it feels like to move underwater. They did a beautiful job modeling the fish and the sea life. There's a really interesting sense of calm that they tried to sort of put into this game, but it just becomes annoying.
So the character customization in this game, I have to say, not too special. You get like 2 options. Are you a guy or a girl?
You can upgrade your fins.
The upgrade system's pretty good. You can get your new suits, you can get new scuba gear, new gloves, new tanks. You can get it all. You can pretty much customize your guy to look amazing.
You just can only pick between like being a dude with dark hair or light hair.
I mean, those are your options. But I mean, who cares? It's all about the scuba. The graphics in the last game with the underwater stuff was amazing. In this game, just as amazing, if not even better.
Oh, I would agree. And the animation on the whales and the sharks actually look pretty scary when you get up close to them. And I think that's where I have my biggest problem with this game, is that it's a fun little exploration game.
Yeah.
You can actually find some treasure, but they could have made it so much cooler.
Yeah, it's like underwater mist. So another game that takes advantage of Nintendo's online capability with a little Wi-Fi connections where you can go to your friend's island, and we speak. Why is that in this game?
Why? Because, so when you're diving, you can say, oh, you should look at this fish over here.
Giant
and like in every Nintendo game, you're collecting coins.
There are coins in the game, which is...
There are. And they unlock something if you get 100 of them. Shocker.
An extra life. Woohoo! Hello!
All right, well, I'm going to tell you what I think. And that is, this game is a great scuba simulation, but it is not a core gamer's game, and it kind of gets in the way of itself. So as a scuba simulation, it's fine. As a gamer's game, not so much. I got to give it a 7.5.
Yes, I'm gonna give it a 7. Sorry, Scuba.
Right back when the PlayStation 1 launched, way back in 1995, a game called Jumping Flash came with the machine, and it was one of the first games to kind of show off what 3D platforming could be, and it definitely was one of the first games to show off first-person 3D platforming, and it was kind of ahead of its time. Now it looks completely antiquated and outdated, but it's still fun to kind of jump back into this. You're running around as a little rabbit, and you're jumping to try to capture these floating carrots that they call jet pods, and then you've got all these different enemies coming at you. You do have some ammunition at your disposal you can shoot them with. There's boss fights that you get into. You'll be fighting little frogs and things like that. Now, everything looks like triangle shapes just kludged together. It doesn't look great at all, and you can definitely see all of the aliasing, and there's not much draw distance or anything in there. It's not a technical showcase, but it's interesting to go back into it and to play it and to see that the mechanics are pretty solid. You do still get that sense of vertigo when you're doing the triple jumps up into the air and you're up on a very high platform. And Jumping Flash was, kind of ahead of its time in this day, and I think any game fan out there that's kind of a historian and sort of looking back at the roots of 3D gaming should definitely check out Jumping Flash. You can play it on your PSP or your PS3, and it's a pretty wild look back at the early days of the PlayStation 1. I'm going to give Jumping Flash a 7.5 out of 10. One of the more profound stories in video games, that Jumping Flash.
Yeah, I thought this game was based on the Whoopi Goldberg vehicle, Jumping Jack Flash.
That would have been more interesting, maybe?
No?
I don't know.
Okay.
How would they have done Whoopi Goldberg with those polygons?
I don't know. We'll discuss this right after this.